Today I'm going to be talking about Alright, so Will Smith is in a new movie called Emancipation, and the plot for it is pretty much this. A runaway slave forges through the swamps of Louisiana on a torturous journey to escape plantation owners that nearly killed him. Alright, let's get into the good parts of this movie, and the first thing I'm going to say is that Will Smith's performance was amazing in this movie. I'm going to say that this isn't a typical Will Smith role, and in fact there's really not much dialogue coming from his character, and it's more of a physical performance. So this is a very unique, performance that we don't see from Will Smith that often, and although a lot of people think that this movie is an Oscar bait movie, I don't think it really is. But if you look at the movie that Will Smith did last year in King Richard, that was way more of an Oscar bait movie than this one. Another good thing that I'll say about this movie is the cinematography. This is some of the most stunning, camera work that I've seen from any movie. The camera movements and some of the silhouette shots in this movie were breathtaking, and that's a credit to Antoine Fuqua and his cinematographers. Another good thing that I'll say about this movie is the strong opening. The first 10-15 minutes of this movie had a really emotional opening that I think that if it didn't have that at the beginning of the movie, I don't think I would have cared as much, because from, the beginning of the movie, you see Will Smith get taken away from his family, and that pretty much just sets the tone for the rest of the movie. Another good thing that I'll say about this movie is that it is brutal. And when I mean brutal, it is brutal. It does not hold back on, some of the stuff that happened back then. And I don't know whether or not some of the stuff that was shown in this movie was exaggerated or toned down. The final thing I'll say before I get into my criticisms is the final 10 to 20 minutes of this movie where Will Smith becomes a soldier and he has to fight against the other people, and that was really well done. All the army people, although that Will Smith's character is going to get out alive, the movie still kind of makes you uneasy, and you start second guessing yourself, and I think that's a credit to everyone who worked on this movie. Alright, let's get into some of my criticisms of this movie, and the first one is going to be that it is a very one-dimensional story. I could tell you right now, the movie is pretty much Will Smith's character trying to get back to his family, and he'll do anything, and I mean anything, to do that. That's really it. While, Will Smith's, slave masters are trying to hunt him down throughout the movie. And once again, I don't think that the plot of this movie is bad or anything, but it's just predictable and boring sometimes. Another thing that I'll say before I give my score is that I wish we could have saw Will Smith's family a bit more, because once again, I think we get a good amount of time with Will Smith's character, but sometimes, I think for the audience to care just a bit more about the family, I feel like we should have gotten a bit more scenes with that family so that we really understand why Will's trying to get back to them, because we hear Will Smith's character saying, I need to get back to my family and all this stuff, but I feel like if they have shown a bit more character towards the family, I think I would have cared even more than I already do. And overall, guys, I really don't understand why the critics and just people in general haven't liked this movie. I was going into this movie thinking I wasn't going to like it that much, but I ended up being kind of surprised by it. Once again, do I think this is the movie of the year? Is it in my top 10 movies of the year? No, but I do think that this is a very unique watch, and honestly, if you have nothing better to do this weekend, watch Emancipation. I don't think it'll be a waste of your time. But I'm going to go ahead and give this movie a 7 out of 10. Have you seen Emancipation? Did you like it as much as I did? Let me know in the comments. And those are my thoughts on that.